Well, hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today you are joining me on a very small little river. It's a river that I used to fish years ago when I was a little kid growing up. It's where my dad first took me. Now this isn't actually a stretch that I have fished before. It's a local club that I've joined, and they've got about a mile of the river. Where I used to fish would be probably about a couple of miles upstream, but the river, I've just had a quick walk along the stretch and it looks really good. I mean, the conditions aren't amazing today because we've had a lot of rain I'd say the past couple of weeks over the Christmas period, and the river is actually a lot higher than it should, as you can probably see over my shoulder there. I'm actually lure fishing, so hopefully we're going to pick ourselves up a pike or maybe a perch. Got some smaller lures maybe to use on the way back to the car, but for now I'm going to be targeting pike. Most of it's going to be filmed on the action cam, so I will be switching over to that in a moment. But I'm hoping we can get ourselves a pike by the end of the afternoon. Got a few hours to kill, so fingers crossed we'll get a pike. So I've just been walking up and down the bank now for the past 5 or 10 minutes trying to find just some slack waters, and I've managed to find this swim literally just in front of me. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit, that's probably better. I've just found this little swim in front of me, and there's a lot of water going through. I mean, probably about good 200 to 300 yards of that is going to be unfishable with lures, as you can probably see going downstream there. But just here, looks like the bank's eroded away quite a bit. Especially in water like this, the pike and especially the prey fish as well are going to be hiding up in slacks, which means obviously where there's bait fish, the predators are probably going to be as well. Now I have no idea of the depth of this section of river, but I'm going to presume it's probably going to be around 5 or 6 foot. So what I've decided to start off with is just the Westin shad tease with a 5 gram screw in and a stinger. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start here. It's going to be the first cast of the day. Hopefully you don't end up in that tree. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it sink down for 4 or 5 seconds, just so we're now down near the bottom, or hopefully at least in the lower layers of the river, and hopefully we can pick ourselves up a bite. As you can see, it's just started tipping it down as well, so that's pretty much been the weather for the past 2 to 3 weeks. It's just been on and off raining pretty much every day, so it's been a bit of a nightmare really. The river was, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was up over onto the fields here, and you can see there's a good 3 to 4 foot drop down to the river, so there's definitely a lot of water going through. Now I am fishing a relatively bright coloured pattern just because the water is very murky. It's a nice muddy brown there, and I'm just imagining that I want something that's going to have high visibility in this muddy water. And I think the yellow, the orange, just as that flashes past the pike, I'm imagining that should induce some sort of feeding response. It's going to be quite visible in this poor quality water. Now that is absolutely tipping it down, so not great conditions whatsoever. Like you can see it, it's flashing quite nicely there. Right, let's get the hood up. And let's move on. Let's go find some shelter under one of these trees. Well, the rain had stopped, but as I just got the camera out, it's actually started to rain again, and it's meant to be coming down pretty hard for the next few hours. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start walking back to the car. I'm going to put on a small jig, probably a 7cm shad with a 12g jig head, and I'm just going to see if I can nick myself out of perch. Now I haven't got a light lure rod with me, so I'm hoping that, you know, I'm just going to be doing it in from the bank, so I'm hoping the setup I've got is going to be up to the job for that. But we'll walk back to the car and see if we can get ourselves a perch, at least to save the blank. Well, I've just changed myself over to the little 9cm shad tees with a 12.5g jig head, a little bit heavier than I would have liked. In the shop when I went a few weeks back, they only had the 12.5g, so I would have ideally liked 5 or 7g, but unfortunately they didn't have any in stock. So, but what I'm going to do, the lure setup isn't really ideal for doing a bit of light lure fishing like this, as it's a heavy rod, heavy braid, and ideally I'd like a little fixed spool. But I think what we'll do, we'll definitely give it a go. I'm just going to chuck it in the margins. Hopefully we can catch ourselves a perch just to save the blank, as I'm battling through this thick mud and cow crap, but hopefully it will save us the blank. Working really nicely through the water actually. It's looking just like an injured fish would on its last legs before it gets eaten by a predator. I have no doubt that this is definitely going to tempt a perch, if there's one down there that's hungry. Definitely a nice swim to come back to when there's a lot less water flowing. That whirlpool looks like it would be definitely prime location for a few chub, perch. There's even reportedly barbel along this stretch of the river, but few and far between from what I've been told. There's a rumour to be some pretty decent sized barbel as well, but they're few and far between, and there's not really been confirmed from as far as I could tell, but there's definitely some nice chub in there, up to and over the £6 mark. When I used to fish it back along, like I say, about 2 or 3 miles upstream, we've had chub just under the £5 mark, so there's some decent chub there, chub to be had, which I think I'll come back down and target at some point soon. Now this is the first swim we started in, and if I was to bank on there being a perch in any of the swims we fished today, it would definitely be this one. Such a nice looking bay going in there with slack water. Expect perfect ambush point for predators as prey come down from the fast flow. Give it one last cast and then we'll move on to the first field. But it's such a beautiful river, it really is. I mean, you can just imagine that there's going to be some big fish in here, some big chub, big pike. There's so much cover. There's about a mile of good river. This is probably the widest point that I've actually found walking up and down it today. There's very little angling pressure as well, so you could just imagine that there's going to be some big pike in there, or potentially going to be some big pike in there. I don't see why not, so I think it's definitely going to be a place I'm going to come back down with the dead bait gear, and we can hopefully get ourselves into some of the hidden, unknown gems that are in here. I'm actually quite excited. But as for today, the fish are definitely not playing ball, and I think the conditions have really mucked up our chances. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it to rain as much as it has so far today. Forecast was looking all clear, which is why I've come out. I knew it's going to be tough conditions with the flood water as well. There's a lot of water coming in, so that's why today I've been targeting the slack water, because that's where I'm expecting the prey fish to be held up, and that's where I expect the pike to be as well, following those prey fish. But it just seems that they're not playing ball today. But it's been a good session. Nice little recce. And we've bent my hook. My hook's been bent as well, so that's probably pulling it back out the snag. So let me just get my long nose pliers out. And bend that one back round. Haven't got my sharpener with me, but I'll give that a sharpen for next time we come out. I think there's going to be one more swim I'm going to give a go, and then I think that's going to be that for today. Hopefully we nick ourselves a perch in this last swim. Well, I think this is the last few casts, guys. It's in the last swim before the car, and I'm going to look back on what I've learned today. I've learned that my coat is definitely waterproof, so there's positives to be had. The river is absolutely stunning. I mean, there's some beautiful swims that I think are going to be very good at fishing when the river's back to its normal state. I know there's a few swims that I've pinned out that I think I'm going to return with the dead baits, hopefully within the next couple of months, and also some very nice looking chub swims with some overhanging trees. There's some nice whirlpools as well, which I want to give a go. So definitely been a positive session. But for now, that is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully have another video out soon. Cheers, guys.